So here's the beautiful lesson about beauty. The Torah praises Sarah Imenu, our righteous, wholesome, beautiful foremother. Is that how you say it? I know forefathers is so common, but our great-great-great-great-grandmother, Sarah Imenu, that was beautiful. The Torah says she was beautiful. The rabbis explain she was extremely beautiful. That is, in fact, why Avram was afraid going down to Egypt with such a beautiful wife. He felt, I'm in danger. Now, the rabbis point out at the end of her life, there's a verse that breaks up the years of her life into three categories. It says 7 years, 20 years, and 100 years. One of the points the rabbis make from that wording was that her beauty at 20 was comparable to her beauty at 7, making the 7-year age of beauty greater than the 20-year-old age of beauty. And it's very interesting. We'll look at it inside if everybody wants. I'm just going to turn to the page and I'll tell you how to look at it inside. And I'll talk while I'm doing it because we know the attention span sometimes, especially online. So we're going to go to the portion of Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah, and we're going to look at this verse inside in the Rashi. And again, it's comparing her beauty of 20 to the great, great, unparalleled beauty of 7. Okay, and I'm going to look at it inside right now. So he says, she was 20, ubat kaf kebat zayin liyofi. She was a 20-year-old, but she was like a 7-year-old regarding beauty. And this caught my attention, and I think it's going to catch anyone who's listening to this, it's going to catch their attention as well. Did you ever hear of a comparison of beauty? Meaning we're talking about, and again, we want to be careful how we speak. We're talking about the beauty of a woman in their prime, when they're most beautiful. I would have thought, maybe it's because I'm about tshuva on some level, still, I would have thought 20 is the time that you're more beautiful than 7. Unless a person's a sicko, then maybe 7's more attractive than 20. But what's going on over here? What are the sages tapping into that we're unaware of? Listen, sometimes you got to just say it straight, which I kind of did. And still, you got to be careful how you speak, especially when it's going to be made public. You all heard that out there? Only someone with a problem, I think at least, is going to find a 20-year-old less attractive than a 7-year-old. That same person, I mean, obviously. Because you could certainly find different people that 7 is still, whatever, that's a different story. We don't want to insult anybody. All women are beautiful, all the men are nice, we're always patient, women are always exemplary in patience. I mean, everybody in this world is perfect in potential. And that's what we have to focus on. So what's the answer to our riddle? So here's what I would like to suggest. Okay, what's missing, or it's not really missing, what's not really present yet in a 7-year-old girl? Okay, question. What is present in a 20-year-old woman? And so I dare to say this word in a video, giving a Torah class, but we must, sexuality, right? There is an element to a 20-year-old woman who is a woman that's ready to be married and live that type of life. And there's an attraction there. Unfortunately, when you have a Yetzer Hara, which we had no choice but to bring back into our reality, so the animal in us doesn't always discern between my woman, my wife, and just a woman that has the same energy, that has that attraction. That's what attractive means. That woman attracts something. What's attracting? It's the idea that we have a desire for intimacy. Intimacy obviously is with a person you care about, that you know very well, and that you're married to, according to Torah, according to God's way. Marriage has a different interpretation in different time periods. Officially, marriage right now is to have an official marriage ceremony where you're married, whether you're Jewish or not. Everyone gets officially married. That is the ideal, to follow the ways of the world and the laws of the countries that you live in. And so ideally, again, the Jewish approach and really God's approach to intimacy for all people, as it is expressed through God's prophets, in the Torah is marriage first, intimacy later, and then children. Okay, that's the order. If anybody get confused. Now, because we have inside of us many pulls and pushes, so we might be attracted to the wrong person. And so for that reason, God created modesty laws. Modesty laws. There's an extreme level of modesty, and there's a minimal level of modesty. And you know, it's important to recognize and explain properly that anywhere within that range is kosher. It's called modesty. Now, there happens to be a slightly different level of modesty that God prescribes through the Torah for the Jewish people. Women have a higher level of modesty that they must adhere to, and the Muslims borrowed that from our religion, and obviously it's a positive thing, and anyone else can also. But for example, covering one's hair, a married woman must cover their hair if they're Jewish and practicing the religion properly. Okay, so we understand modesty is really a remedy, or at least an attempt to try to balance the idea that we can go off course and we can be looking at the women out there that don't belong to us, and it's going to make obviously it's going to make us the wives, you know, maybe not ideal. They don't want us. They don't want to compete with other women, and it's also going to detract from our appreciation for our wives. And so there's a system of modesty. That is again to cover what's meant to be private, and in a modest way. But if you do your job with the modesty aspect, so you will tone it all down. And so here's the pshat now, based on this introduction, with Sarah. What does it mean when the rabbis say that Sarah at 20 had this unbelievable beauty of a 7-year-old? And that is this. We can all notice, I've been told this twice at least, because I have a relatives that are beautiful. I had like some younger relatives that were so cute. We'll call it cute because otherwise people will misconstrue what I'm saying. So cute and adorable as relatives that for example, we went to a pizza place once, and the man serving us pizza was like awestruck from a 7-year-old relative of mine, 6-year-old relative of mine. Like, this girl's going to be one of the most beautiful women if she grows up. Now, we know where he was coming from. He saw something in her at 6 that he was just like, could only imagine what it would be at 20. So, but he saw that something unbelievable in her at 6. It happened a few times. So now, what is this? So this is this. The core beauty in a girl at 7 is there. And if she grows up, she'll become 20 with that core beauty that's there. It will just have added to it the sexuality, the attraction that an adult male has towards a beautiful woman, which needs to be controlled. Now, what the rabbis, I believe, are trying to explain to us and to teach us is this. Sarah was a holy, righteous, wholesome woman that was extremely modest, and therefore, at 20, she was able to maintain the purity and wholesomeness that you would get when you see a 7-year-old. Meaning, when you look at a 7-year-old beautiful little girl, it's just beauty. It's pure beauty. There is no desire in normal people for the sexual aspect of it. It's just she's adorable, she's cute, and you recognize it, and there's no Yetzer Hara there. Sarah was 20 with the beauty of a 20-year-old woman with all that potential for the wrong people to see it the wrong way. But the Torah was saying that from her perspective at least, and maybe how much she was able to portray onto others, it was wholesome, it was holy, it was true beauty of a bat melech, of the daughter of the king Hashem himself, that presents herself in a way that, yeah, there's beauty, but there's wholesomeness, there's modesty. And that's the prescribed approach. And that's what I think the sages are pointing at. If a woman can be 20 years old and modest and wholesome and holy, then it's a beauty parallel to that 7-year-old, which is wholesome and protects against that Yetzer Hara that wants to lead us all astray.